So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Pittsburgh, 1942. I'm giving you 1 out of 5 stars. I hated this flick. This is going to be another John Wayne movie. Wikipedia is calling it a 1942 U.S. drama film. I'm calling it a war propaganda film, directed by Louis Seiler, starring Marlene Dietrich, Randolph Scott, and John Wayne, based on a story by George Owen and Tom Reed. The film is about an ambitious coal miner who values wealth and power in the Pittsburgh steel industry over his friends, lovers, and ideals, only to find himself deserted and alone at the top. When his fortune crumbles around him, he discovers that fate offers him an unexpected second chance, namely World War II. Filmed partially on location in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The film co-stars Shemp Howard of the Three Stooges fame in a rare dramatic role. Yeah, if they would have let Shemp Howard do more than just a cameo role in this one, I would have rated it higher. He's doing his Three Stooges slapstick in this one, getting hit over the head with a chair, making funny faces. Yeah, we love Shemp Howard on this channel. Too bad he only got like 5 minutes in this movie. Dietrich, Scott, and Wayne also made the spoilers together the same year. I have not seen the spoilers. Scott received top billing over Wayne in both films, despite the fact that Wayne's roles were larger and more important. Pittsburgh Markham, the white male swine of a capitalist pig, is a coal miner with ambitions. His self-confidence manifests itself in a lack of consideration for others. He's usually friendly, but he makes use of people to promote a loan to con a new suit out of a tailor, Shemp Howard, to raise some money for a boxing match by pushing his best friend Cash Evans, Randolph Scott, into the ring. When he meets Josie Winters, Marlene Dietrich, he starts calling her Countess because of the impression she makes on him. Although she reveals she comes from the same kind of humble coal mining background as himself, I find that hard to believe. Not only is this a war propaganda movie, but it's a feminist movie because it promotes women being equal to men somehow, which is questionable. Josie remains somewhat unimpressed by his big ideas, but when she dares him to quit his job in the mine, he does so, and he tenders Cash's resignation as well. He interests a steel mill owner in a supply of cut-price coke, and he forges a steel mill owner's signature on a contract to persuade the mine owner to supply it. How could you forge a contract to persuade a mine owner to supply it? That doesn't make sense to me. That seems like a fraud. But, well. None of this movie makes sense. Flush with success, he starts talking of helping to improve the lot of men he used to work with. But his first taste of big business goes to his head. He marries the steel mill owner's daughter, much to Josie's dismay, but soon he feels out of his depth at the wedding reception and other formal gatherings. He doesn't go to the opera. I had that same problem when I was going out with Zingzi. She wanted to bring me to the opera, and I was kind of busy. As Pittsburgh follows his lonely path to further heights of financial wizardry and big business success, his old ideals fall by the wayside. He's no longer a do-gooder like Randolph Scott. He puts his father-in-law out of the business, and he betrays the men that he had promised to help. Shame, shame, you white male swine of a capitalist pig. He even puts a stop to research into a new medicine to be developed from coal tar to relieve world suffering because it doesn't show any profit. Oh, that evil businessman with his feet up on the desk, smoking a cigar. All he cares about is the accumulation of assets. According to the socialist Heilbronner, excuse me. But after the Soviet Union collapsed, Heilbronner said Mises was right. Communism doesn't work. And the collapse of the Soviet Union is proof of it. Unfortunately, they just played musical chairs and now Putin is in charge. Former KGB man. Cash draws the line and demands to be let out of his partnership with Pittsburgh. So Cash is the do-gooder, played by Randolph Scott. Why did I say Ronald? When the men stage a revolt against Pittsburgh in the mine, he goes down to tackle them single-handed, as bold and confident as ever. Cash follows to intercede before trouble can break out. I thought he was the former partner. What's he doing on private property? Putting the dispute on a personal level between him and Pittsburgh and turning it into a fistfight. Cash said he wanted to divest out of the business, which was kind of dumb. And then he gets in a fistfight in the coal mine, which doesn't make sense. But none of this movie makes sense. Pittsburgh's success goes sour. Cash abandons him. His wife walks out. She wants a divorce. And Josie is badly hurt in a mine accident. Yeah, she couldn't stop the elevator. It just kept going down. He is all alone. Josie is out for a couple months. This part had me scratching my head too, because the beginning of the movie starts at the end. They're looking at a picture of Josie as if she's dead. But she's not dead. She recovers after a couple months. So you're kind of going, what is that beginning all about? All right. Pittsburgh's all alone. Pittsburgh tries to win friends by putting right his past mistakes. Cash and Josie marry, and Pittsburgh business folds up under him because his former father-in-law gets revenge on him somehow. That's never explained in this movie. But a lot of things aren't explained, like how the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, even though FDR knew about it. Only now does he feel generally repentant, this Pittsburgh dude, but it's too late. As World War II engages the U.S., he goes back to work for Cash's new company under assumed name, starting at the bottom. I think his name is Elliot or something. Soon his ideas for improving output command Cash's attention. When the new employee comes to meet the boss, only Josie prevents them from quarreling bitterly, giving the film a patriotic message that the important thing at this time of war is devotion to our country. At one point, Randolph Scott said, "We're all in this together," which was a common phrase a few years ago. Made me ill. And with the three united as friends again, it remains for Pittsburgh to make one small assertion of his old arrogance. Oh boy. We're not off to a good start on this disc. I'll show it to you. There it is. John Wayne. 5-movie collection. I've only got 3 of them. There are, Pittsburgh and the Conqueror on side A. Side B is jet pilot. So I've got 3 movies to go through on this disc. I've got to tell you what's coming down the pike. I've got to go down my list. I think I'll save that for my next video since I'm already up over 10 minutes. I'm only halfway through the Wikipedia page. This is Scream 3. Roger Corman makes an appearance in this one. That's why I got it. Looks pretty bad. Wes Craven's Scream 3 from the year 2000. The Conqueror is 1956, and Jet Pilot is 1957. All right, let's go to my Netflix queue, and I'll tell you what's coming down the pike next week. So last weekend, I was supposed to have a ride-along with Alto in Belmont, the ride-sharing company that pays their employees through W-2, and they give their employees benefits. Well, it got rescheduled to Monday, of course. And I failed my ride along on Monday. So that dashed my hopes that I'd never see Stephanie again, and I'd just forget about her. And I'd forget about Good Eggs for good. So I ended up becoming an independent contractor for Good Eggs, which seemed like a raw deal at the time, only $130 for one Good Eggs route. Especially now, they're not giving me double. They're not giving me 2 shifts a day. They're breaking it out between Monday and Tuesday. But I can write off. I finally got my tax accountant to admit that I can write off the mileage and the bridge toll to get there from back and forth from here to Oakland and back. So that's going to save me quite a lot of money on taxes. Maybe $700 next week. So it's sort of a mixed bag, but it's mostly bad because I don't have any benefits the first of the month. So I've got 2 phone interviews tomorrow, and I'm waiting for a hotel on Market Street to call me back. I applied there over the weekend. Hopefully they'll call me tomorrow. And I get to sleep in tomorrow because I'm only working 12 p.m. Unless my valet parking manager calls me to let me know that the overnight guy called out Sunday and Monday. In which case I probably won't work any of my independent contractor job. I'll just call out. I know it sounds complicated, but anyways, I'm adding a Jim Wynorski film, or at least I'm trying to, on my Netflix queue. That's why I'm kind of babbling about my depressing work situation. It's going to be depressing next month, if I don't find a replacement job. Okay, I just added the Jim Wynorski movie called The Thing Below, 2004. Now let's go to my Netflix queue. See what's coming down the pike. And then I'll go through the rest of the Wikipedia page for Pittsburgh. I got to break out these these videos because they're taking too long. Me babbling about this, that, and the other. About ready to take a nappy poo. We both had bacon cheeseburgers for lunch, and we're both having bacon cheeseburgers for dinner. I'll cook hot links tomorrow. All right. So next week we got Sharktopus, the movie that I'm not looking forward to, 2010. I'm sorry. I got Sharktopus mixed up with Dino Shark. Never mind. Both of them came out the same year. But I'm going to watch Sharktopus. This one looks more promising. This one looks better than Dino Shark. All right. Next one is directors Roger Corman, 2001. Gets an average of 3 stars out of 5 on Netflix, which is probably what I'm going to give it when I get it next week. And then the last one is Machete Maidens Unleashed. This is a documentary of exploitation films in the Philippines. Hollyweird in Manila. This one looks pretty interesting. I might actually like Sharktopus and Machete Maidens Unleashed. All right. Let's see. Although successful at the box office, Pittsburgh did not receive positive reviews from critics. The film critic for the New York Times called the film another lusty and totally synthetic film, a routine entertainment at best. In his review on Eye for Film, Carol Ness wrote the film was like a Western taken out of context, replacing the cowboys and Indians with coal miners and steel impresarios. Ness criticized the heavy-handed message, writing, "This is an unashamed propaganda film." Yes, we finally see some accuracy on Wikipedia. To inspire workers to work harder in order to help the war effort. You must sacrifice your life to the state. The story is predictable and dated, and it is hard to ignore the message that is driven home that the greater good, i.e. the war effort, is more important than individual wealth and petty entanglements. Yeah. In other words, the state is the new Jesus Christ, the false idol. You must worship the state above all else. And that's the message of the film. And that's why I hate it so much. All right. Well, I just wanted to slip that in there. I'm up over 19 minutes now. We're getting close to 19 minutes. And yeah, I'll take a little nappy poo, then I'll watch The Conqueror. The Conqueror looks more promising. It's got John Wayne, Agnes Moorehead, Susan Hayward, Thomas Gomez, who was also in he was in Pittsburgh, the movie that I just saw, Lee Van Cleef, The Conqueror. This one is often ranked as one of the worst films in the 1950s and also as one of the worst films ever made. John Wayne as Genghis Khan. There's a nuclear incident, cancer controversy. Of the 220 film crew members, 91, comprising 41% of the crew, developed cancer during their lifetime, while 46 or 21% died from it. When this was learned, many suspected that filming in Utah and surrounding locations near nuclear test sites was to blame. Gee, I wonder why. All right. Well, next week should be interesting. I'll see if I can pick up some hours. But it's not looking promising next week. I'm getting lots of cash coming through my checking account next week. And I'll be able to pay my quarterly taxes. It's about $1,300, like I said. But I got all my bills paid except for two. I'm in good shape heading into March, but I'm worried if I continue working these two jobs, they're not giving me enough income, that I won't be able to pay my bills next month. It's a legitimate concern of mine. And hopefully I can pick up the pace on my Robinhood. It was down last week. I think at one point I was up 55% in a month and a half, I said. But I really need my Robinhood to pick up the pace on Monday. I'm counting on it. Let's see what my Robinhood says year to date. I bet you it's not 55%. Year to date. Go on. 35%. So I went up from up 55% to up 35%. I've lost 20% last week. Terrible. All right, I'm up over 23 minutes almost. So that's the end of my review. Not highly recommended, not check it out, but skip it. Laters.